Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to go over the changes they made to the Special Guides Guide missions and what they mean for new players. This is only going to apply to you if you started playing after May 21st. If you started before then, you still have the previous Special Guide missions, so most of the things we're going to talk about in this video does not really interest you. But okay, in the meantime, I'm working on a beginner guide for my website, but unfortunately it's taking a lot longer than I anticipated because I underestimated the amount of information I had to share for new players. And yeah, that's really a lot of stuff. Every time I was typing some words in or some information, more stuff came to mind that I had to share. So it was a never-ending cycle, and I'm still there adding stuff to the guide. So it will probably take me the whole week, I think. I will try to release it by the end of the week, but again, we'll see. In the meantime, in this video, I will definitely cover at least the SSR Plus units you should be investing in. And for that matter, I already made a TLDR post on YouTube where I told you which kind of units I think you should be pulling for on the non-stop SSR Plus banners. But in this video, we're going to go in detail as to why I'm recommending those units and exactly what you kind of can expect to get from the special guide mission and why those materials are important or why they're not. That kind of depends. So yeah, that's the plan. And I think we can start by talking about what changed from the old special guide missions and the new ones. And I will add on the screen all the materials that we got from the previous 21 steps. Now there are 24, as we can see here from the new one. It's a total of 24 steps. They changed the units that are required to level up or to dupe up for completing these steps. And they're now white Anniversary Iwa, which is Healing Flame Iwa for people that are not familiar with her. And then Dawon, which I think is step 19. Yes. And then Dawon. So that's the first change. Before it was Revolution Bomb, white Anniversary Iwa. So they removed the Revolution Bomb and they moved the other two one step earlier and added Dawon at the end. This addition makes no sense to me, but I'm going to talk about why in a second. So let's go back to step 1. So now the difference is that we have to go for white and not for Revolution Bomb. Before, I recommended to go for Revolution Bomb first, and second, ignore white and go for Eden. Why I was saying that? And that's mainly because white is not really a future-proof unit. It's going to fall off once you reach a deficit of like 350 or so. You will start to feel that this guy is underperforming. And I think I have to clarify what deficit is because a lot of people have been asking that in a lot of videos. So I will definitely, well, for sure in the guide, add sort of a terminology section where I add all the different terms that we use in game. But in this case, deficit is just the difference between the link level of the enemy and your highest link. So if the enemy is 600 level and you are 500, then that is a 100 level deficit. As simple as that. And why is that important? Because the higher the deficit, the more damage the enemy will deal to you and the less damage they will take, the higher their stats and the less impactful attack scaling DPS units will be. So what is an attack scaling DPS unit, you might ask? And those are units like White, Goose Goose, Helljo, lots of different units that the main source of damage is an attack scaling skill. So if in the skill you see this skill deals a percentage of attack, that is an attack scaling DPS unit. If that's all they do. If there is another category of damage that is deals a percentage of the enemy max HP as damage, that is a max HP scaling DPS unit. So these are the two main categories. And attack scaling DPS units have the, let's say, feature or like characteristic of scaling of a crit rate, resistances, and defense. So if the enemy has a lot of defense, they will deal less damage. If the enemies have a lot of resistances, they will deal less damage. And yeah, if you crit, you will deal more damage. So there is that to consider. And in that case, crit rate and crit damage are important. Physical pierce or magic pierce, depending on the type of damage you deal. And also resistance decrease are going to be important, and defense decrease are going to be extremely important. So it attack scaling DPS unit to perform at higher deficits needs a lot of investment and needs a lot of support that can decrease those kind of, let's say, stats on the enemies. A max HP scaling DPS, on the other hand, cannot crit and doesn't give a shit about defense, doesn't give a shit about resistances. It will always deal that amount of damage. It's like true damage, if it makes it clearer. So it's going to ignore everything and it's going to deal that set amount of damage. If it's 60%, it's going to be 60%. So that's quite good. And that also means that those DPS units are the more future-proof, because regardless of the kind of content you're going to face or the kind of deficit you're pushing, they will always deal the same damage. So yeah, back to the topic as to why I did not recommend white as the second pick. That is because the second non-stop SSR Plus only gives you 400 tickets, which means on average you're going to get the unit to like purple 1, and a purple 1 white is not going to do much. Let's say you even get him higher, 3 red or whatever, it's still not going to do much. He definitely wants the Rainbow 5, and even if you get him there, at like 350 deficit or a bit above, it will start to underperform, which is annoying, and is not a future-proof unit. Now, things changed a bit, because since the last update, so May 21st, they decreased the cost of upgrading links. So your links can increase a lot more quickly than they used to, which means you're not going to be at a deficit anytime soon. Or like you can easily level up your links and then still be at like 200 deficit, more or less. That's kind of the standard. And at those deficits, white performs extremely well. So I think it's a reasonable pick at this point, especially if we consider the pool of units that you have available. And maybe I can also pull that up here in the nonstop. So if we go here, they're not ordered by release, but I can tell you that the most recent unit is indeed Revolution Bomb. That was the previous preferred pick for the old special guide missions. And the second newest character is white. So he's a recent unit compared to all the ones that we have here. And better than him, we only have Eden, Revolution Bomb, as I already mentioned, because this guy is, yes, an attack scaling DPS unit, but he has a lot of defense shred in his kit, is a lot more self-sufficient, and he can carry better at higher deficit. But I would say lower deficit, white is better than him. But yeah, that all depends. This guy is more future-proof, white is a lot less future-proof. So that's the main difference. But everyone else that is featured in this banner is kind of trash, except the supports. So if you're talking about Anniversary Eva, as we were mentioning before, she's a great pick, but she's a support, she's not the first unit you want to level up, otherwise the enemies are not gonna die. Same thing with Evan, he's a great support unit, but is doing well at 0 dupes, and again, it would bring no damage to the table, so kind of worthless. Kaiser, fall off a bit too hard, she might come back to the meta as soon as they release Alphine. There should be a dedicated SSR Plus support, or SSR, not sure about the rarity, we'll see. But okay, whatever. So that to say that the alternatives are not really that great. So white is definitely the preferred choice for the non-stop SSR Plus banner. That's what we can say for sure right now. And yeah, so that's the first one. Did I already mention that now we don't have to take all of the unit to 3 red anytime soon? Because before, like I think step 4, we had to take like Revolution Bomb to 3 red. Now it's only 3 blue, which is a lot lower, but it doesn't matter on the first one. It's going to be interesting from the second one onwards, because also in like step 8, it was white 3 red, and that was the stopping point for the majority of the player base, I would say, or at least that what I was recommending people. I was saying to go Eden second non-stop banner. In this case, we have Anniversary Iwa, which is a support. I think it's fine because she's a unit you will have to max out anyway. She's just too good. So placing her in step 8, 3 blue, I think it is reasonable. And you can definitely get there with the non-stop SSR plus 2. You get 400 tickets. That should be around purple 1-ish, stuff like that. Could be more, could be a bit less, but it shouldn't be a problem to get to 3 blue. So you can easily pass step 8 in this case, and then you will go all the way up to step 16, because step 16 is what requires you to have white and Anniversary Iwa to 3 red. Before that, you don't need that, which is extremely good because you will get a lot of materials, really a lot of them. So that's nice. That is a really decent improvement. I think the pacing of the special guide mission is a lot better than the old one. So yeah, we already mentioned that the first non-stop we want to go to white, and the second one we want to pick Iwa. And I think that's a reasonable choice. You're going to get also the tickets for the non-stop SR Plus 3 fairly soon, but as we already saw, Dawn is not in there. So step 19 and step 20 are going to be tricky to do. Well, step 19, not really, you only need 1 copy, so you can complete this. But step 20 is not really going to be easy to achieve, and they hid 50 SSR Plus tickets for the non-stop banner 3, like behind this, which is extremely annoying. But whatever. So we have around 150 tickets for non-stop SSR Plus 3, and those are going to be used for Eden. It's not much. We can probably get 2 to 3 copies of Eden, which would be, let's say, green 2, green 3 kind of thing. And it will have to be our second or third DPS unit. It is unfortunate, but it can at least perform at that amount of investment. So it is still fine. I would recommend going for the third non-stop with Eden. You're going to need to be like floor 46, I believe, to unlock the non-stop SR Plus 3. So that might take a bit, but not even that much. You will need 2 teams before then. So you might be, okay, so how can I use Eden as my second DPS? And yeah, you cannot. But you have to pull for Gusten. So at day 8 of your account, you will have access to the new player advent banner, and this will let you pick 1 unit between Chomray and Gusten. And considering what they did to Adventure, you now have to pick Gusten and get into Rainbow 5. You will have 21 days from when you unlock the banner, so it's like 1 month of your account lifetime to max out this unit, and you can do it 100%. It's not difficult, I can guarantee that. So definitely pick Gusten, get into Rainbow 5, and it will be your second carry. So you can easily get to floor 50. By then you will have access to this non-stop SSR Plus banner 3, and you can go for Eden. You will not get a lot of dupes. It will underperform, yes. So you have to throw all these strong units to support your Eden, and then leave your white and your Gusten with like lower level supports or like weaker teams. That's kind of the idea. So this is the overall leveling progression that I see now with these new changes that they made. And yeah, there is not much else to mention other than the fact that I don't think you should be going for Dawn like at all, because what you're losing out on is like this 1500 green revolution mats, nothing really. 3000 of this one, nothing again. 150 of this one, not really important on a new account. So you don't really lose out on anything, especially because to get this stuff, you have to waste that stuff because they're asking you to do some improvement level ups that will cost you way more than what you're getting back. So not worth it at all. You can just stop at step 19. You can complete step 19 by just getting a single copy of Dawn. That will happen over the 2 months time that these missions will last. And yeah, last one is a bit of a shame, but it's just 20 tickets of each kind is nothing really. So you don't lose out on anything from not going Dawn, so that's excluded. Just skip her. We don't care. And yeah, I think I already covered most of the things I wanted to mention. So I don't know. Let me know if you have any questions also about what we discussed in this video. Let me show on the screen before we conclude also these 24 steps rewards that we have now. So you can see 2700 of the common exclusive event mats, 2700 of the uncommon ones. We also get the 150 rare Shinsu whetstones, as I was mentioning before, so a lot more of the ignition weapon level up materials. And yeah, we get like 2 to 3 times of most of the things, except for the summoning tickets. So those are still the same, which is pretty good. Everything else has been at least doubled, I would say. And yeah, that's more or less all. Let me just share one last thing that I will add also to my beginner guide on the website. That's actually where this is coming from. I will expand on it and make it a bit better looking, but okay. So this is the TLDR on who to summon for. I will also consider the case you want to be kind of a spender, so you're willing to buy the packs. Then I also have a dedicated path for that. And we can already see for free to play, the steps are more or less what I mentioned. So white in the first one, you will have an average of Rainbow 3. Second, you go Healing Flame, Hiwa Yon, average purple 1 with the 400 tickets from SSR plus 2. And then we have Kun Eden with 200 tickets. Actually, I have to fix it and make it 150 because the remaining 50 you cannot really get because of Dawn, but okay. And that is an average of 3 green, actually probably 2 green, but whatever. And then we have the Welcome Family Head Advanced Summon, and that is Gustang as your pick. You don't have any free tickets here. You have to use all of your black market tickets and your Suspendium on this banner, and you want to get this guy to Rainbow 5. That's your first priority. Do not use Suspendium on the Welcome Summon for SSR unit that have the improved rates. Let me see if we can see it. So okay, not the first summon, but this one, the Welcome Summon. Do not use your Suspendium here. Use only the normal summon ticket. Because, I mean, you're going to get a lot of normal summon tickets in the early stages. There is no reason to spend Suspendium on this kind of banner. Suspendium is needed for very special and important events or family head units and stuff like that. Do not summon on the black market, actually at all, not just with the Suspendium, not even with the black market tickets. You should not be summoning on the black market. I cannot show it to you because that unlocks at floor 1520, 1540, something like that. So yeah, I don't have it yet, but the black market is an old thing. Do not summon on it. It's not worth it. Okay, so that was the TLDR for the free-to-play. For the spender, the thing is a bit different, but the same at the same time. So you're going to go white and you're going to max him out, because if you cannot finish him off with the 1000 free tickets, you just buy the super cheap bundles and you can max white no problem. Second unit, you still go Hiwa and you max her out. You're going to buy the non-stop SR Plus tickets and you max her from the non-stop SR Plus 2. And then you have non-stop SR Plus 3 with Kun Eden, and you could buy the tickets to max him out. Not necessary for him, but definitely appreciated. And then you go for Gustang as well. You max him out. You don't need to spend anything to do that, so that's okay. And then there is a really good pack in the shop. Let me see if I already have it. I don't know. I'm not so sure. We go in the growth section. Yeah, we don't care about the coupon, and we don't have it yet. But here in the growth section, there should be an SSR Plus growth something. And if you buy that, is like this price, so 26 euros, or I think like $24, something like that, you get a maxed out SSR Plus unit. That's extremely convenient and extremely cheap, and I recommend you guys to do it. The picks you could go for are Hugo or Augustus. I added Darwin here, as you can see, mainly because you could finish off the guide with that, but I don't think it's worth it. So I will probably, by the time this guide is live, I will probably remove Darwin and just leave Hugo or Augustus. They're both insane units at lower deficit, and they still are super relevant at higher deficit. They are attack scaling units, but both of them have insane value and can scale to really high deficits. So they're really valuable units, and I think both of them will help you just have no problems with 4 and 5 teams. So that's insane. There is also an additional bundle that should be available, or is in the season pass? No, it's not. Should be in the bundle, should appear somewhere, and it should be sort of a check-in based bundle, and that is going to give you 17 SSR plus units and 30 SSR units. That's quite decent to buy. It's like 13 euros or something like that. That is pretty decent. Unfortunately, I cannot show it. But if you go and watch my spender guide video, you will definitely see what I'm talking about. I don't know when it appears, unfortunately. I also forgot to get these rewards here. Let me do that. Okay, it doesn't matter. I will just break this account. Anyway, I will delete it, but okay. So that is definitely important. And also one additional thing to mention, the guide pass is not too bad if you're a spender. And you would need to get to step 21 to get the most out of it, which is still including a 3 blue Dahlon. So I cannot really recommend it, but you could do it if you want. The other rewards are overall nice, but if you ask me, nothing that is necessary. Especially these ones have been like super made outdated by the amount that they increased in the base steps. So all of these is a lot less valuable. Also this, all of these are a lot less valuable, actually basically irrelevant. This is basically irrelevant now. So yeah, you're not really getting a lot of value out of this. I would say you can easily skip it. You don't need to buy it. I think it's not worth it anymore. So yeah, that's kind of all, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I will be happy to answer. And I hope I can finish the beginner guide as soon as I can. If you have any requirements for additional videos that I should be posting, let me know. Otherwise, I will keep on working on the website, adding more teams, more information on the current units. And then I will release soon the tier list update and the character review for the new units that were released. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!